Yeah, first off, I just was in here earlier. I want to send congratulations to Wendell in cross country. It's awesome, just second time in history winning regionals. And obviously, Mike in football are undefeated, Joni's undefeated, and there's a lot of winning going on at Texas A&M, and I'm really excited and happy to be a part of it. So for us, I'm just continued to be impressed with our team and just the poise that we show, the way that we prepare, the way that we go about our business during the week, and the way that we're showing up on game day, regardless of who we're playing, prepped to be in that match and show the world who we are. And I'm fired up to be the coach of this team, and proud to kind of take them forward into the NCAA tournament going forward, or to the SEC tournament and then the NCAA tournament.
We'll open up to questions. We'll start on the left row to Alex.
So you're talking about yesterday, just kind of how you were kind of mulling over how you might go about scouting 15 teams. Just where'd you kind of maybe land on that, and does it help that you've played the three teams that you might that you'll face first, and with Georgia being the highest seed, obviously the team you played last.
Yeah, we sat down and probably talked for about 30, 45 minutes on that subject, and it was a little bit along the lines of the teams that we've played more recently. So obviously Georgia, there's no more like recent matches that we can download, scout, clean. The report worked, and that one will be a little bit more of just having people kind of pick apart our scouting report and what went well, what didn't, and there's a lot that went well, but also what ways that they are probably going to adjust based on what we did. So is the other thing we'll probably take a peek at in that one. And then for the other teams within the tournament, it's who do we not have recent information on, and making sure that we can kind of go forward. And then it was just the process of I have to go into kind of my experience of being with the national team where I had, multiple matches in multiple days of I'll probably go to bed at 8:30 or 9 and wake up as early as I possibly can and make sure I have the scouting report done for that next team. So it'll be a little bit more familiar for me than it might be for other people of prepping each day for a new opponent.
We'll go front row on the right to Travis.
Hey, Jamie, I know we've talked several weeks about the prospect of playing 3 games in a row and y'all training for that. How ready do you feel like the team is to take on something like that?
I feel like we're as ready as we can be, and it's one of the things that's been going through my head, and I'm actually going to probably call Scott, who's in charge of sports science for us, and have a conversation about how we best handle it and how we best set ourselves up for the NCAA tournament later on, which has to be the priority. I don't want to break us in half to make sure that we go win this, but I also want to go win this, and I think if we were to win all 3, there's a chance that we're hosting 4 matches in the NCAA tournament in Reed Arena, and that environment is unlike anything else in the country right now, which is a competitive advantage to us. So it's balancing all those things, and it's not the easiest thing as a head coach right now, and I'm hoping at some point the SEC decides to put an off day somewhere in the middle of this for the benefit of our student athletes.
We'll go third row on the right to Kay.
Coach, your group hit 525 yesterday, a program record. Yeah, my bad. Just what does it say about your group that you are the most efficient this program has ever been in SEC play at the end of the stretch? Yeah,
that we're really good, and we're really good at a lot of things, and that doesn't happen by itself. And I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face, but just our ability to pass and then in that match play defense to the point where we're setting up Maddie to go distribute the ball, or whoever that setter is, and I'll hit on that in a second too, but then Maddie's ability to distribute in a smart way, in an efficient way, in a located way, like she's putting up the ball in a really good spot. And then I think it's attackers' decisions of when to go for it. And I think if you look at that match and go back in it, we look at a stat called efficacy also, not just efficiency, but efficacy is like how much trouble do I cause the opponent. And when we weren't getting kills, we were getting free balls back. And then our offense was set up even more. And I thought that was the best we've ever done, all of that together. And then I got to give a shout out. I think we're one of the best non-setter setting teams in the country. And not just when Maddie's, setting the ball, but when other people are stepping in, we're putting up hittable balls that we're either getting kills on or, again, causing some chaos. And then I just think the fact that we're balanced. And I think SEC voting is going on right now, and people are putting in their ballots for that right now. We have, an entire team full of people that probably should be on that first or second team. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but we have extremely good balance on our team to the point where everyone is an option, everyone is a threat, and that's really hard to defend. And I think all of that adds up into one of the craziest offensive nights I've ever seen, and defensive. And it's funny, we got done with the match, and I pay attention to just those two numbers a lot of what our offensive efficiency is and then what we're able to limit our opponents to. And I'm a big stat guy, so the conference, everyone played everybody once, and it's the cleanest data set ever because everyone's played everybody once. And I was really hoping we kind of jumped to the top in both of those categories, and I think we ended up second in offensive efficiency and first in opponent offensive efficiency. And our ability to do those things at a really high level is what's going to cause us to be able to win.
Go back behind the lights to Tyler.
Yeah, Jamie, how do you balance going into this SEC tournament, knowing that the ultimate prize going to be the NCAA tournament, and just knowing the potential number of matches you have coming up in the next few weeks?
Yes. I don't have a full answer on it yet. And it's one of the things that's probably keeping me up a little bit of what the right answer is. And if anybody has any advice in the room, please let me know. No, I'll take into account everything that's kind of set around us. And we have some really smart people around our program. So not just our coaching staff and my assistant coaches and the people that are kind of around me every single day, but they're a part of this athletic department. And I'll take into account sports science, our strength and conditioning coach, our athletic trainer will have a meeting tomorrow, and we'll probably talk through all of this of like how do we best handle it. And I will say the number one thing, win like we did on Sunday. It took us 71 minutes to take care of that match, and obviously that helps things. If you're doing that 3 times in a row, it's a lot easier. So that definitely helps things. But if we get into a grind at it, and it might be something where we're kind of flexing in and out of some different lineups, I don't know the full answer on it yet, but I do want to make sure that we leave this weekend best prepped to go win in a week and a half after that. And also balancing out the fact that we do want to try to win the SEC tournament.
We'll go back to Alex, second on the left.
Obviously came in with a talented and veteran team. I'm just curious, though, like, is there maybe 1 or 2 players that have just improved a lot throughout this season in particular that have really helped you guys throughout this stretch?
All of them. Yeah, I'm going through the board there, and it's been different people at different times. And I think you go into ebbs and flows of seasons as you get in here. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about right now is you kind of have these ups and downs, and different people have had them at different time. But I feel like our whole team is starting to do this right now. And I can go through different parts of the different year where I think, everyone thinks that people improving is like this, but it's usually like a plateau with this, and different people have had different ones throughout the year. So I think, again, the thing that I'm most excited about is right now I feel like we're peaking. I think we're peaking physically. I think we're peaking from a volleyball standpoint. I think everything's starting to come together in the right way heading into the most important part of the season. And I don't think anybody, and I mean anybody, I think everyone has Nebraska as a clear number 1 right now in the country. I don't think they'd want to see us on their side of the bracket right now. And I think everyone is probably hoping that we're a 1 seed in hosting, and whoever isn't in those is probably not hoping to play us right now. So, and I wouldn't either. I think we're a really dangerous volleyball team right now if we play, especially like we've been playing the last 4 or 5 matches.
Fourth row on the left to Rob.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
So do you ever would you use like the football game against South Carolina for your girls to show that a really talented team that has a tough start and maybe things aren't going right can turn it around and come back with, would you ever use that kind of as a teaching moment for your team?
I actually showed Mike's question at the press conference when they asked him about what was your halftime talk. And he said it wasn't much. And we talk a lot, like one of our core tenets is be you through us. Of the BU pieces, bring your personality, bring your level of competitiveness, bring your fire, whatever it is that shows up. And different people on our team are going to act differently. And some people are going to be a happy fire, and some people are going to be an intense fire, and some people are going to be in-your-face fire. But the us piece is the things that, I've defined in terms of the way that we work hard. The way that we act as teammates, the way that we show up every single day. And we really just showed that and just talked about, hey, it's not different if it's football or volleyball. It's about being true to the things that you think are important that make your team what it is. And when things, seem a little bit difficult, go back to those. When you're coming into a match not motivated, come back to those. But we talked about the fact that, hey, we come into this match and we be true to those things, good things are going to happen. And all of a sudden we're up 25-15, 2 sets in a row. So I think that message was received, but I kind of planted the seed, hopefully, that in the future, if we do get into that situation, it's nothing crazy. It's just going back to being the team that we normally are.
We'll go third row on the left.
You mentioned being a big stats guy. How much do those kind of analytics and numbers factor into your coaching decisions on a kind of game-to-game basis?
Yeah, immensely. I usually spend part of my game day routine is probably, an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes before the match. I really study. I kind of have one worksheet that I call a report card that really identifies the key metrics that I think are important. And I'll usually kind of study the last 8 matches of ours, kind of looking at that. And then when it comes to our scouting report, a lot of it is metrics. A lot of it is how, they're going to try to attack us based on numbers, what the, things we need to shut down are. So, and I think coaching is this weird flex of art and science, where you got to look at the science piece, but then there's the motivation piece, there's the desire piece, there's the sports psychology piece, there's all these other pieces that come into it. So it has to be a blend of the two. And I don't know if anybody's gonna ask a question, but I got to say this. I came into this match, and we had, I think I'm allowed to say we had a recruit on campus. We had somebody on, and I remember having a conversation. Man, I'm not sure what the crowd's going to look like tonight, just because we had a football game the day before. It was a 12 o'clock start for us, and it wasn't a night game. And I continue to be blown away by the 12th man. And for me, I remember thinking before the match, like, this is a true test of like how much people have fallen in love with our sport. And to have, I don't know, the fourth highest attendance in the history of our program, and the highest with the exception of Texas. And Georgia's a good team, but there's no number next to their name, so it wasn't a top 25 matchup. And to have that many people show up, and I'm going to keep coming back to this, the passion that they're showing. I gave props to the Hullabaloo band after the match in terms of the press conference there, but like their ability to help out with an in-and-out call and challenges. This crowd is making a difference, and I'm grateful for it.
We'll wrap up with Donna back behind the lights.
Coach, you talked about playing efficiently. Is that something that you emphasize with this group, or is that just kind of happening as a product of how well they're playing right now?
Yes, all of the above. I think if you look back at the beginning of the season, we were a really terminal volleyball team, and we were, I don't know, getting 18 kills, but we were making 14 unforced errors, and we were kind of in these sets where we were playing really well, but we were letting the opponent back into it and keeping it close. And we've worked on that piece of, making our opponents beat us, of staying around 4 or 5 unforced errors and making sure that they have to score 21 points truly if they're going to go beat us. And but I think the ability to play the entire game, our ability to pass, obviously, is keeping unforced errors down, and we're not getting into crazy situations where we're having to try to swing our way out of a high ball. We're being in system with space and able to go attack it. And I think the ability for Maddie to run our offense and be able to create that space is causing opportunities where our hitters don't have to try to close their eyes and swing as hard as they can and hope something good happens. And then when we are in those situations, we've gotten to be a lot more efficient of trying to learn, hey, here's how we can go after it. Here's where we need to play it safe. I think from the service line, that was probably one of the best serving matches we've had, that we've constantly kept pressure on the right person in that match. So I think it's a combination of the two. We've gotten better, so it makes it easier to be efficient. But at the same time, we've really concentrated on how do we make our opponents beat us down the stretch here.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.